All right, welcome back to another video here at DFD Mastery. Our focus is to help you overcome your struggle of finding discounted properties on a consistent basis. That is one of the most frustrating and discouraging things that can happen, is spending more money on marketing and not finding deals. So today we're going to do an interview with one of my students. She's actually here in my market. She became a good friend of mine. And she kind of got to see what I was doing from the beginning of building out the Driving for Dollar system. And she's since purchased the course and she's doing great. She just got a deal where she did very well on it. And so I am so excited and so proud of this gal. It's been a lot of hard work. I've seen her struggles. I've even cried with her in my office, and she's just a special person. So I'm super excited to introduce you guys to Roxy. She is a complete rock star. So welcome, Roxy. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you, Zach. I'm very, I feel very proud of being part of your team, and thank you so much for your nice words about me. So.
Oh, well, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great. So Roxy, can you tell us your last name? I always slaughter your last name, and I don't want to embarrass myself even more here.
It's Roxy Chamochumbi.
Chamochumbi, that's right. Yeah. Okay. I actually would have got it right, but I didn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, I do speak Portuguese, but I still embarrass myself all the time, Roxy, all the time. I am, I don't know why my wife loves me so much. I'm such a goof, but, well, this is so fun because, you know, I think you more than any other student I have, I got to see your journey. I got to see your struggles. I got to see your frustrations. And, you know, I don't know how much of this stuff you want to share. So I'm just going to let you tell the story. Okay. So, why don't we like bring it back to the struggles? Like, you can share whatever you want, you know, from trying to get into real estate, the financial burdens, the pain, the frustration, you know, what you were going through, whatever you want to share.
I don't want to get emotional going back to the past, but, but yeah, it's been tough for me. You know that I've been in bankruptcy. I've been about to lose my house. I lost a job. I was sick for a while. So I came back to US after being sick for so long in 2016, I think. I started working for an investor, and then that's where I learned about this business. And I realized that if I want to make money in this market, I need to be involved, you know? So I start with zero money.
When you say you worked for another investor, what strategies was he using?
He was a commercial multifamily investor. Okay. So I was doing finances with him and accounting. And I saw so much money going on that company. I mean, he was making millions of dollars just without using his own money. He was buying, building, refinancing, selling it, and making millions of dollars, you know, and everything in front of me. So I was like, well, this is something I would like to learn and get involved. So that's why I started reaching out with people about how to get involved and start doing it myself. So
awesome. Yeah. So you were working for him and seeing the multifamily investing, the big apartment complexes, things like that. And then you said you saw this business. Do you mean wholesaling? Do you mean like smaller single family investments? What are you
my focus was multifamily in the beginning, but since I was running out of money because I wasn't working 2 years ago, I was just trying to do whatever it takes, you know, where it takes me to produce some cash for my family. So I started with you, with other investment groups, and I started flipping because that's the opportunity that got into my hands in that moment. Mm-hmm. So, but I started with wholesaling with you also, right? Helping you and trying to learn how to do it. And you being such a great influence on my my experience and the beginnings. Plus, the language was a little bit of my part of my insecurities in the beginning too, because I was like, well, I have an accent. I don't know if people will talk to me on the phone, and if they even gonna, to take in consideration somebody that is out of the country and to try to negotiate with me. So I was very insecure in that, and I had to work on that a lot, and work on myself to feel confident about what I'm doing. So,
Love it.
yeah.
Love it. So I have noticed though that, so I'm married to a Brazilian, right? And I speak Portuguese. I lived out of the country for a couple of years, and I fell in love with Latino culture and Latinos in general. I think they're just wonderful people. I love them to death. Thus, I married a Brazilian girl, right? And so one thing I've noticed is people in general, they feel more confident and comfortable with people of their own, let's say, nationality, or understand their cultural norms. I remember when I was doing wholesaling and doing some of the appointments myself. It's been a while since I've done appointments here, but I would have Roxy go with me when I was speaking with families that their first language was Spanish and English. They weren't as comfortable with that language. And I did that because I wanted people to feel comfortable and confident with what was being said, and that they were making decisions that they understood. But also it was funny when I would go with Roxy, they felt more comfortable. They felt more confident that, I wasn't just some white guy trying to take advantage of them. And I completely understand that. I remember when I was living in Brazil, especially those first few months trying to grasp the language, how uncomfortable and insecure I felt. And I really, put a lot of things in perspective and helped me understand, what a struggle it is mentally and emotionally for a lot of these immigrants. And so I think that, you felt like, not having English being your first language, that would be a hindrance to your success. But I think a lot of the times that is actually a blessing when you're speaking with Spanish speaking families, right? They're going to feel way more confident to work with you, because one of the main things you need to do in the beginning is build rapport and help those people feel confident. So, we come across quite a few Spanish speaking families, and we're going to get into the deal that you did. And one of the main reasons I believe is they were Spanish speaking family, right? That were they, or I don't even,
No,
what's that?
they weren't, but the contact that brought the deal was. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. So this is awesome. So that's great. So that was one of the things you had to overcome. Do you want to go into more of, you said that you were sick and then you came back in 2016, you said?
Yeah, around 16, yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, I mean, I've been here since the United States since 2001. And then I've been going to school, had a family. When I got a separation in 2013, I was a little bit depressed. That's why it took me a little bit of time to recover from that. But I had businesses before. I had the restaurant business. I had 2 restaurants before. I always been an entrepreneur. But emotionally, when you're not good emotionally, everything is just very hard to do, So that's when I went back to Peru to visit my family, stay with them, and get the emotional support. And that's where I got sick. I was sick for like probably two years trying to recover. Then without working, I mean, I got some savings from the restaurants. I was doing good before, but without working and having 3 kids for 2 years, it's really hard. So I had to go back and start over basically. And that's when I came back and started working for somebody else while I was figuring out what to do. And like I said, it was a nice office, a nice people, excellent job. But I always wanted to do my own things because I got the entrepreneurial spirit. So I wanted to do something else, And now when I was sick, I was very, very sick. I was about to die. So all my perspective changed. I came back being a different person. Um, I thought, when you're about to die, you're thinking, well, I was very stupid that I didn't do because of other people's judging you or telling you negative things all the time, or why you are doing this or that. But when you're about to die, it's like, okay, if I want to do something, I'll do it. I mean, I don't care what other people is going to tell me, because sometimes even your family is going to be the biggest opposition. Is that a word?
No, yeah, no, for sure.
so, because like I said, I left my job and I was trying to get into real estate and I wasn't working. I didn't try to find another job. It was just me believing in what I'm doing, and I know I needed to do it until it works. And my family were like, "Why you're not just looking for a normal job? You're crazy."
What's the matter with you, Roxy?
And I was just me and another friend trying to send offers all the time, but we were making a lot of mistakes. I mean, we were learning, we were analyzing properties and then sending the offers. And we were spending a lot of time on one property trying to see how much I'm gonna offer before I even send the offer, right? So then after I met you, I know that you just call them and see if they're interested. So it saved me a lot of time, because I was like, probably, I don't know, we were from 8, she would come to my house from 8 until 2, 1 or 2. We were just analyzing properties in the market, going around, looking for multifamily opportunities, just going through the zoning, through the research of the property owners and all that. And then after doing all this due diligence, then I'll send an offer. So I would probably send 2 or 3 a day, but we were doing a lot. But it was part of the learning experience. I mean, it helps now, because now that I've been analyzing so many deals and so many properties, now I can, if I'm in a certain area, I understand how much I can offer just from like 5 minutes, 5 seconds,
Right.
It's because I have a sense of the market. I've been looking for properties all the time. So I just go around and I know how much I'm going to spend on rehab. I know how much it can probably be, the price of the property and things like that. I mean, it's been a journey, but it helps, it helps it built up my knowledge and experience, and I think my confidence as well. I feel
That's
more
so awesome
confident.
that it's fun to look back and be like, man, I wasted so much time doing this, or
Exactly.
I made these mistakes, and I can, we both can, right? Like
Exactly.
a successful person can look back and go, man, look at all the mistakes I've made, but that was my education, right?
Yes,
And
because it helps.
it's awesome. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is how you were able to do it. So many people make excuses why they don't take action, right? And it doesn't matter what they're trying to accomplish. There's always a reason for not doing it. So you were a single mom with 3 kids.
Yep.
You completely quit your job because you wanted to be a real estate investor.
Yes.
So you had a family to feed and responsibilities on your shoulders, and you still went out and became an entrepreneur. There were so many things against you, right? You could say, well, my first language isn't even English.
Exactly.
And I have kids to feed. And, there's not very many women entrepreneurs and real estate investors. And you could have come up with 100 different excuses, right?
That's true.
So how did you overcome that fear?
Well, I was giving my last chance to success. I in my mind was, okay, this is gonna be my last chance to be an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. If it doesn't work, I'll go back and be an employee,
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give everything on me to make it work. So if I can do everything in my hands to make it work, I'll do it, because this is my last chance. So I put 100% of my time, my focus, everything, because this is like my last chance, because I was tired of my family telling me to find a job. And other people also, to be a normal person and just, So I say, okay, I tried so many businesses. I think this is gonna be, if I can do this, then I just gonna quit and gonna find a regular job and become just a regular person. So, so I put everything on me, my time, my focus, everything, because like I say, it was my last try and it worked. So
I love it. I love it. You know, I hope that whoever's listening to this can understand the power of this young lady here. You know, there's so many people that have dreams or ambitions, and then they never go for them. They never make it a priority. You know, I'm not saying everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to be a real estate investor. You know, not everyone has that specific goal. But there's a lot of people that have specific goals that never take the risk, that never take the chance, that never give everything that they have to something to make it happen. The funny thing is success is never as hard as we think it is. So I actually just got done reading a book. It's called The War of Art. It's not The Art of War. It's called The War of Art. And my mentor, Tom Kroll, told me to read it. And in there, it talks about when we have fear over something we want, it's because we really want it. If we didn't want it, we wouldn't have fear, right? It wouldn't mean anything to us. For example, if you go into a job interview for a job you really don't want to get, you're not going to be afraid. You're not going to have any fear. You're just like, whatever, let's just go do the interview. If I get the job, it'll suck. But you know what? I got to make money. But if you want to be a real estate investor so bad, there's always fear. There's always obstacles in the way. There's always going to be this, it feels like this giant mountain in front of us that we'll never be able to climb. And it's because we want it. But one thing that I've learned is that fear is the path because it's what we want. And when we just keep moving forward and getting out of our comfort zone and chasing that fear, that's when beautiful things happen. That's when we wake up in the morning and we just feel so grateful. We wake up excited. We wake up feeling like, you know, we're living what God intended for us. So I just think it's so beautiful what you've been able to accomplish and all the obstacles that you've overcome. So let's deep dive the deal that you did. So I want to tell my side real quick, and then you share what happened. So Roxy reached out to me. So we're in the same market, and she said, "Hey, there's a potential deal. Here's the information. Go do the deal. If you get the deal, we'll split it or whatever." Right. So I sent it to my acquisition manager. My acquisition manager met with them, and they said, well, we actually decided we want to just list it retail. And so it just ended up being a dead deal. We figured we'd follow up with it in time. And then you got back and ended up getting the deal.
Yeah.
So, and you made really good money on it. And so how did you do that? How did you out negotiate my acquisition manager, Roxy?
Oh my goodness. I was surprised about that one because I went on vacation and then I came back, they called me back and I was like, really? Okay. Yeah, I'll put it under contract today. So well, I talked to them. I went to see the house. You know, I met the couple. They inherit that property from their parents. So they were like 5 different siblings on the trust. I talked to them, say, you know, the most I can offer is like 160. And they have an appraisal for 210. So they were like, no way, I'm gonna get it to that low, you know. I said, well, but you know, think about, I'm gonna buy it as is, and it's gonna be cash. It's a cash offer, so you don't have to wait or have any problems with closing in 10 days. So they say, you know, yeah, okay, let me think about it. And that was our first conversation. That's where I reached out to you because I thought, okay, Zach is gonna get it. If I don't get it, Zach is gonna get it. So he knows better about this. And I call you and I say, hey, Zach, you know, I offer this much. They wanna go at least 190. She said, don't worry about it. Okay, so you try to reach out. And he was under contract with somebody else for 190. So a few days
and that
later,
was before, though. That was before you met with them and it fell through?
No, after. So I met with them. They didn't accept my offer. And they probably talked to you and somebody else and some other people, and they got under contract for 190.
Okay.
So all the time that I was in Peru, probably was under contract. I don't know. When I came back,
The stars were aligning.
so they were waiting for my vacation time, basically,
Yeah.
and then they backed out because they couldn't get the finances ready, and that's
They
why they
realized
called.
they had it under contract for too high.
Exactly. And then when I came back, they say, hey, Roxy, we got it under contract. They backed out. We were considering to lower the price. How much can you offer? I said, well, 160 is the most I can do. And they said, well, would you do 165? And I was like, okay. Okay, maybe, So I sent the contract and then I put under contract for 165. And that's why I was just trying to think if I'm gonna flip it or wholesale it. So I say, well, if I get this much, I'll wholesale it. So I put the word up there with some investors, and actually want somebody else offer me a little bit more for the deal because he wanted me to finance it. So I have good financial lenders, investors on my side that are giving me special prices on the points and all that. So for him, probably it will cost him more money to finance it with hard money and more money out of his pocket. But since I have deals with the other investors, it's cheaper for me to get a financing for him. So he offered me a little bit more. I put him on the contract. We closed after like 10 days, and he bought it the next day from me. And I used my finances to finance it for him. So he paid me 40,000 up front, and it's gonna be 40,000 up front, and the person that is financing the deal, he's gonna get about 10,000. So that's why I make 30,000 on the deal.
Okay, so your profit's 30,000.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your lender is going to make about 10,000.
Exactly.
Because of the connections that you've made and networked.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so awesome, Roxy.
So
That's incredible.
I have the check here somewhere. Let me see. Well, I have a bunch of checks because they were giving me back the inspections, insurance,
Yeah,
and everything. But yep. So it's 30 plus 5,000, 40 something $1,000. But it's gonna be net 30,000 for me. So, and
that's
I got
so
the money.
That's so incredible.
Awesome.
That beats getting a normal job, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is awesome. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I mean, it just came, a phone call, no, I mean, who knows what you're doing? I mean, until you get the deal, because sometimes you think, oh, I keep going, but they come back to you, and if you're doing a good job, like you say, I think they're gonna consider your offer. And it's not about the money sometimes, it's more about how do you connect with them, like you say. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yep. Well, congratulations on that. That's
Thank
super
you.
fun. It's a deal that slipped right past my fingers. But I totally believe that there's more than enough deals out there for everybody. There's deals that are out there that are meant for you. There's deals out there that are meant for me, and there's deals out there meant for the people listening to this. It's just if you're willing to go out and work for them and earn them. Yep. So congratulations again. Thank you so much for being on here. Hopefully this inspires other people to take action, believe in yourself. If you're interested in learning more about the marketing system that I used, that Roxy used to find these types of deals, go to dfdmastery.com, sign up for the webinar where I deep dive exactly what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then one more thing, Roxy, before we end this, I don't know if you saw this post, but I'm reading this book right now.
Oh yeah, I was looking for
Profits First.
Book. Yeah.
Yes, that is a must read, Roxy. It is a must read. So, like you, I've been a serial entrepreneur since I was young, and I've had businesses, and I've done well, and then I've done poorly, and then I've done well, and then I've done poorly. And it's because of the big mistakes of managing a business and managing my finances. And this book has really been helping me organize myself to not let those same mistakes in the past happen again. So make sure you read that. I was thinking of you actually when I was reading this book. So yeah, get that book. Thank you so much for being on, guys. Make sure you make sure you subscribe, and thanks again, Roxy.
Hey, thank you, Zach. Thank you.